In the summer of 2018, our family left our town in southern Indiana and traveled to Chicago. We flew out of O'Hare Airport to begin our epic European trip. We flew overnight from Chicago to Iceland and landed in Reykjavik, which is the capital of Iceland. Iceland is a beautiful Nordic island country in the North Atlantic. It has a population of only about 350,000 people, making it the most sparsely populated country in Europe. The capital and largest city is Reykjavik, where the airport was that we flew in. Iceland was a beautiful country, and I would desperately like to return there someday. After leaving Iceland, we flew over Norway and then landed in Denmark. Denmark is a Nordic country and is the southernmost of the Scandinavian nations. Denmark has awesome public transportation and there are trains everywhere. After we arrived, we checked into our hotel and then began to look around the city. One of the first things you notice when you get to Copenhagen is that most people get around on bicycles. There are bicycles everywhere. We were actually told that there are about 2 bicycles for every person in Denmark. Copenhagen has a population of about 775,000 people, but about 1.3 million people live in the Copenhagen metro area. We got on a tour bus and started visiting the city. One of the most famous landmarks is the Little Mermaid, and there were tons of tourists that flocked to see this tiny statue. The other thing that you will notice about Denmark and Copenhagen is there is water everywhere. Denmark proper consists of a peninsula called Jutland, but there are 443 named islands that make up the country of Denmark, the largest being Zealand, where Copenhagen, the capital, is located. Since there is just water and waterways everywhere around the city of Copenhagen, we decided that the best way to see the city would be on a sightseeing cruise. And so we decided to take that trip, and I would highly recommend it. From the water, you can see many of the old historic buildings in Copenhagen, but there are also a lot of modern buildings that dot the landscape as well. Sit back and enjoy some of the scenes from our cruise. Copenhagen is a constitutional monarchy and has been since 1849. Here is the palace where the royal family lives, and here is a picture of their yacht, and here is part of their navy. We toured down some more of the canals to see more of the architecture of Copenhagen. After the cruise was over, we decided to tour the city a little bit more on foot. And then as night fell, we headed back to our hotel. Good night, Copenhagen.